So we'd announced that we were going to do a comedy festival. I'd been on the local TV announcing this with great confidence, having not booked any acts at all as well. Set up my MySpace account.
Brilliant.
Because social media is so important. And then on a Friday afternoon, the phone went in the office and it was a producer from ITV who said, we are making a show with Holly Willoughby and Fern Cotton. This was in 2007, early. And it's a dating show and we need to do some filming at a comedy show on Sunday night. And we found a comedy festival, wonder if you could recommend anywhere. And I said, actually, there isn't any comedy on a Sunday night. I said, and then for some reason I said, but if you want, I'll put one on for you. Right, and they went, "Oh yeah, if you really don't mind, that would be good." I said, "I need some money though. I mean, this is a big corporation, so I was like, £500," and they were like, "Yeah, that's fine, do that as well." So I then had very little time to then organise a comedy night, which with no acts booked, with no audience, no venue at that point, because ITV were going to turn up with their celebrities and come to film this thing as well. So again, like some of the decisions I make in my life, impulsive, but I thought this will be exciting. I've never worked with TV before. Let's just do it. I should also probably tell you that that was the Friday afternoon. I was going away for the weekend as well.
And it was on the following Sunday?
Yeah, actually it was the weekend after, so I had eight, nine days to do this as well. So without going into the minutiae of detail, I rang around and begged a room from the Royal Hotel, and I got in touch with a more experienced promoter who was able to programme the show for me. And then I very quickly put together an email, and again, this was very early days of social media as well. So it was when emails used to go viral and forward on and go, "Hi, we're putting a show on for ITV. These are the acts coming. It's free. I'm running a guest list. This is what you need to do. Email this address." Fired it off. And then I went off on holiday to Dorset in a caravan, and this was of course the days where to access the internet you had to go to an internet cafe as well. So a few days into my holiday I was like, better go see how that show's going on. I logged on to the internet cafe into my Hotmail account to like hundreds and hundreds of emails of people that had registered. I want to come to the show, because one of the people I'd emailed was a journalist at the Hull Daily Mail who had ran a full page story about this show.
Wow.
And that had gone, and the email had been passed on to it as well. So I was just sifting through this as much as possible, just to reply to it, yeah. And then anybody that had left a mobile phone number, unfortunately, that meant they couldn't come, because was texting people to say, sorry, it's full, but I had to make sure that they were going to get the message in time. And then, so the other thing I should probably mention as well is that I had chicken pox at the time as well. So I was 26, and but I'd caught that from my then 1 or 2 year old son. So I didn't look great. I hadn't been feeling very well. And then so long story short, we turned up to the show. There were hundreds of people there. We knew we couldn't fit them all in the room, so I persuaded the acts to do the same show twice. So we had an A room with the cameras and Holly Willoughby and Fern Cotton, and then a B room.
Brilliant.
Which, to be fair, Holly and Fern were great, because they came in and did some stuff on mic and said, look, we know you're in the B room, but we really thank everybody for coming along. I've got this photograph of me standing there with them with my chicken pox and this ridiculous
Holly Willoughby trying not to get naked.
Half beard because I couldn't shave because it would just destroy my face. It was just I wasn't very showbiz, to be honest. But I did get a very nice letter from the ITV producer saying, we don't know who you are, we've never worked with you before, but how you made that happen in such a short period, we don't know.
You're the greatest comedy promoter.
Yeah, it was. And then, of course, the added bonus is I had a hell of a database of people that were interested in comedy, which I was then able to use for the comedy festival. And then the second show I ever put on was Russell Howard, which sold out and filled it as well. And I thought, this is it, this is easy. I realised doesn't always work like that. I did run
and then along came the Live Naked Idiots.
And then it was just like, that was the kind of peaks and troughs of comedy. But that for me was quite an experience, really.
What was the show?
So we just the TV show.
The TV show, yeah.
Oh yeah, the very short-lived. It was called Holly and Fern Go Dating. So
that rings a bell.
Yeah, and so of course when it was on ITV or maybe even ITV2, I don't know. It was like, well, let's watch this and so on. Yeah, about 5 seconds worth of footage I think they got out of it as well. So it was just like, and it was just like, this is our day. So she went to a comedy club and then it showed a couple of clips, including me, looking my best, and then it just cut off, and then they went to Leeds, and it was just like the amount it shows over TV, the amount of work from not just from me, from so many people that went into putting that just for a few seconds of TV gold.
Wow. How many people came in the end then?
About 500. The problem was they kept dropping the capacity of the room because it would look better on camera. So
they needed to get all the
cabaret style and stuff like that as well. So yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy event. But I'm glad I did it. And there were times of the day where there was self-loathing of my part. I've just created this massive hassle for myself and other people for no reason whatsoever. Although in the hopes that in a few years' time, when I'm in our studio and I'm put on the spot to ask a question, that I can talk about something that I'm experiencing.
And it's slightly easier than mine last week. What does this teach us about business?
Well, I suppose it depends on how you look at it, because we got away with it. So I suppose you could say fortune favours the brave, really.
And but hard work as well. I mean, you had chicken pox. You were away on holiday with the family. Yeah, you had no internet service.
Yeah, in self-employment.
I imagine you had to go down, and I mean, I can't remember that well when it stopped being dial-up and started being broadband. But you might have had to go through the whole. As it dialed up on the internet, I don't know.
Is that logging
in?
Wars?
Yeah. Logging into MySpace and things. I still my MySpace channel is still live. I believe.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it very active?
Well, I haven't been. I don't know. I haven't been to it.
But I suppose the lessons from business there is when you're self-employed, take the risk, have no respect for your family holiday, or for your own personal health. Just do it anyway, I guess, is the message. No, I think but you're right, if you're going to take that risk, you've got to do it properly, because I would have let a lot of people down and looked like a prat, and actually, instead, it was something that learned a lot from that to say, okay, when you're given an opportunity like that, don't get overexcited. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
What I should have done is just been a bit more methodical.
But once you're saying you're doing something, put everything into it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I couldn't let them down. Couldn't let Holly down.
Well, quite. Yeah. Okay, so the other thing as well is, obviously, as we build up more and more viewers, then we're going to take viewers' questions. However, we don't have a viewer's question for this week for John. No one knew John was going to be on. So, John, I have a pre-prepared question for you, and it is, what film or TV show from when you were young scared you the most?
Do you know,
terrified
I'm from... You might have had this as well. I remember in the early 90s, BBC, Halloween, Ghostwatch.
That special that they did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember it?
Yeah, I was round at Daniel Jerry's house.
Yeah, and the scary thing was that I didn't know where you were at the time. My parents were... I distinctly remember watching, so I must have been 11, 12, something like that, watching my younger brother, who's a couple of years younger than me. And we thought it was real. Yeah. And we were just...
We unplugged all the lights.
Yeah, so if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, so this was the BBC's Halloween special, and the idea was that they went to this haunted house. I think it was loosely based around the Enfield poltergeist, and they actually I know a lot about this.
Yeah, it's quite a famous thing now. It's always on these clip shows, isn't it?
Yeah, and they had Sarah Green and Michael Parkinson, Craig Charles, I think.
Quite possibly.
And they were in this house, but then it was like they were investigating it, and then things start to happen. Now, I was already obsessed with the paranormal at this point. Ghostbusters is still my favourite movie of all time. I could probably on another time talk about my short-lived ghostbusting business as well, which was my first entrepreneurial venture, which was probably around about that time as well. But yeah, to watch something and then it was just like I remember
because it started to look like it was messing with your individual TV as well, didn't it?
Yeah, there was
I'm sure. In my head, I might have made this up. In my head, I'm sure at one point they even just said like, "Look, turn off your TV," and like told everyone like this has all gone wrong. And like the TV, it felt like your TV was going wrong. It wasn't. It was just the picture was. They were making it go fuzzy and things like that. But
yeah, and it was emulated recently by the Inside Number 9 Halloween special.
Right, okay,
I don't know if you watched that. I mean, that's better.
Was it?
Of its time, Ghostwatch was thing, and we were of that generation of people that were terrified by something, and I think it was linked to a suicide as well. I don't know what's true and what's the mystique around it as well, but yeah, that's the thing that scared me.
Brilliant.
I'm sure I've seen scarier stuff, but it tricked me. I thought it was real. Until the next day when there was all the media controversy around it and stuff, but I don't think I slept much that night.
Nice, so, excellent. Well, thank you very much. Next week we will have a guest here. There'll be me and John interviewing our guest, and thanks very much for watching. This has been The Storyboard Show.
Thank you.